that was one of the saddest times, and actually it wasn't only in the United States but the whole world, because it was tragic.
Each generation might generalize the saddest time of their lives as a prominent tragedy. For some, it's school shootings. Others relate to the September 11th attacks. For two Glasgow men, November 22, 1963 is a day etched in their minds. As it was later discovered, this would be the day marked in history books as the assassination of the 35th President of the United States, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Marty Huffman remembers the day like it was a few years ago. Huffman says he was only in primary school when he learned of the shots that rang out in Dallas.
I was in the 5th grade over at D.B. Terry Elementary. And as a matter of fact, I didn't know it at the time, but later on, I was in my favorite teacher's class, who was Miss Sadie Jackman. And she was one of my all-time favorite teachers. But it was long about noon that day. Reed Moore, the principal, at that time, came across the intercom, said he had some important news.
Atop a hill along Liberty Street was a young teacher. Jessie Brown was 23 years old at the time and had begun his first semester as a history teacher in the Glasgow school system. He says he remembers that fall day being typical.
I went to lunch. At that time, we were on the campus at Liberty Street, and the lunchroom was in the basement of the Liberty Street school. And so I had eaten lunch and walked back across the campus to go into the high school. And the office girl said, "Mr. Brown, they've shot the president." And I told her, I said, "You don't joke about things like that." She said, "I'm not joking, it's on television." So I went in to see what Walter Cronkite was saying about it, and found out it was true that they had shot the president.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, some 38 minutes ago.
I remember watching CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite, and for 2 or 3 days there, especially at this particular time, but for 2 or 3 days there, every time Walter Cronkite would mention President Kennedy's name or anything about his assassination, he'd get all choked up and he would start crying while he was on air, and he'd have to pause, take a little break or something, and then but that's just the way it was. Everybody loved and admired the man.
Vice President Lyndon Johnson has left the hospital in Dallas, but we do not know to where he has proceeded. Presumably, he will be taking the oath of office shortly and become the 36th President of the United States.
Lyndon Johnson had a reputation for being more progressive in most areas. Now, he probably would not have been as progressive as he became, because I think he felt a sense of carrying out what some of the things Kennedy had wanted to do. I think maybe a little more progressive than he would have been.
Huffman and Brown both say party differences and beliefs became meaningless when Kennedy was killed. In fact, the nation mourned the loss of Kennedy as one. Huffman and Brown say the nation was completely shocked.
The name didn't have anything to do with it. The political party didn't have anything to do with it. It was just the fact that the president of the United States of America had been shot and possibly died, or he was dead. And it's just it's just hard to grasp, especially for a 10-year-old child, because that's something that you didn't see much of, or even hear anything much on the news, unless you was in some of these bigger cities where you had a gang violence. But even then, it wasn't very popular back then.
It wasn't that I'd shed tears or anything like that, but it's just a terrible thing that I would have felt that way if I hadn't voted for him, because it was the president who had been assassinated. So
many years have passed since the assassination, but Brown continues to reflect on his own experience. Brown says he incorporated his own experience into lessons later in his career when discussing the assassination.
Well, one of the things I talked to him about, the fact that he was young, and it was a shock to the American people. Most people had never even thought about the fact that the president had been shot. Of course, it had been done 3 times before. It wasn't a historical thing in the sense it had never been done before, but it had been years since it had been done, and the fact that it could happen was shocking to a lot of people.
For WCLU News, I'm Brennan Crain.